Alright, so my name is Luke Waldrop, and this project is about someone in my life that has influenced me. And so I chose to do my dad and entitled it A Father's Influence. And this quote is by Billy Graham. It says, "A good father is one of the most unsung, unpraised, unnoticed, and yet one of the most valuable assets in our society." And so each and every one of you in here know my father, and you know that he's the most selfless person, and that he continues to put others' needs before his own. And he's also put my needs before his own as well. And it's made a good influence in my life. I get to thinking about different things that my father is to me. And first off, he's been my coach throughout my life. I'm 21 years old, and all my life since kindergarten, my dad's been my basketball coach, except for when I played in college. And so this quote here says, "What you are as a person is far more important than what you are as a basketball player." And that's by John Wooden, who was a great coach back in the day. And I think that quote also speaks volumes about my dad, as he's made it a point that not only in basketball to be a coach to me, but in my life to be a coach to me. He's been more than just a coach on the floor, but he's been a coach off the floor as well. And then I get to thinking also that my dad has been a big friend to me. This quote says, "When my father didn't have my hand, he had my back." And that's by Linda Point Dexter. And I think about in my life that my dad's been my best friend, and that in different situations he's always had my back, whatever might come up. And through it all, dad's always been a good friend to me. And then I get to thinking about how he's been a good father to me. My dad's taught me all my life how to be a better man. This quote is by Brad Paisley in one of his songs. He says, "Looking back at all I can say about all things he did for me is I hope I'm at least half the dad that he didn't have to be." And so I hope that one day I can be at least half the man that my dad is to me today. And then most importantly in my life, he's been my pastor. This quote says, "The gospel is preached in the ears of all men, and it only comes with power to some." And that's by Charles Spurgeon. So most importantly in my life, my dad's been my pastor. He's brought me up in a good, godly home, and he's taught me about Jesus, and that he preached to me that one day I might get saved, and I did. And I thank him for that. And I believe that my dad's probably one of the greatest preachers ever, and that he's preached with such a passion, and that he loves the Lord. And there's no doubt that he is a man of God. And I also think also about his prayer life. No doubt that he's prayed for each and every one of us in this room today. And I think about all the different times I've heard him pray and heard him call on the name of the Lord, and all the countless hours that he's spent in his prayer closet or on his face praying for each and every one of us. I can think about growing up throughout the years, hearing Dad through the vent system. His office was in the basement, and I could hear him praying from the basement and crying out to the Lord to make intercession for each and every one of us. So I think about how his prayer life has sure made an impression on me, that one day I might want to have a prayer life like that. And then also, point number 2, think about some of the things that I've learned from my dad. I've learned that it's important to love the Lord and put God first. And I've also learned that it's important to stand for what you believe in, that when the going gets tough, you need to stand firm in what you believe in. A lot of times in colleges and stuff, professors will try to sift you away and teach you something that's wrong. But my dad's taught me that you need to stand firm in your faith and stay grounded in what you believe in, so that when somebody comes with false preaching and false doctrine, that you'll be able to recognize it and stand with a backbone to know what's wrong and what's right. And he's also taught to me about faithfulness. It's been real important in life that we stay faithful. And so he's taught me that I need to stay faithful into church, and stay faithful into preaching, and faithful into reading God's word, and faithful to teaching this Sunday school class. And Dad's made it a real importance to be faithful. And then I get to thinking about, thirdly, his godly character that each and every one of us can see. He's put God first, and that's lordship. And he's preached that countless times to us about putting God first. And then I think of his selflessness, as we discussed earlier, how he puts others before him. And then I get to thinking also about how he's been a great leader. He's been the pastor for 18 to 19 years here at this church, and he's been pastor at another church, and he's been a great leader, and he's led our church through some hard times and through some good times. And it's important that we recognize that he is a great pastor, and that he has been a great leader, and that he prays for each and every one of us. So most of all, my dad's made it a point in my life to serve God and to set an example for me to follow.